Eric Burgess here with Music Marketing TV, and today I'm going to show you how to take a beatbox thing that you record yourself and turn it into a drum loop, a drum kit. We're going to replace the sounds with drums. This is often a much more intuitive way to make music. I certainly find it a lot more inspiring to make music this way, or at least a lot easier. So let's take a look at a quick example and then let's do one. Alright, so I'm here in Studio One and I've got a loop that I recorded myself of me beatboxing, bear with it, and then I've got a drum version. Let's go ahead and mute this, unmute this, and hear this real quick. So here we go. Now you notice there was some pitching and some shifting. We're going to go over why we do that and how we do that. We're going to be using Melodyne to do that. And there's a very specific reason why. But we're going to turn it into this. And the nice thing is we can go through the different kits and see like, oh, let's see what another kit would sound like. I don't know, Chiller's Joint. So we're going to look at doing that. So let's go ahead, let's do one now. So first things first, open up, make an audio track, something you can record to. I'm going to delete these other things. We're not going to need them. And I am also going to turn off the loop. It's controlled by this button down here. And now let's go ahead and record enable. I'm going to turn off monitoring. I don't want to hear myself. Some people like to hear themselves when they record. It kind of helps. And we're going to also turn on the metronome. The reason is I need to keep time. And so the metronome, there it is. You just click on this triangle down here, or you can hit C, and that will also turn on and off the metronome. So to record, you just hit the star on the number pad, or you can hit the record button here. All right, so we have our recording here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim up to what I actually am going to use. I'm going to use these two bars. Just make sure I'm perfectly up to 6 and 4. That's great. Next, we're going to hit Alt-N, and that will normalize the audio for us. And now we're going to bring it into Melodyne. Studio One has deep integration with Melodyne. It's a beautiful thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control-M, and here it is. All right, so we have our recording here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim up to what I actually am going to use. I'm going to use these two bars. Just make sure I'm perfectly up to 6 and 4. That's great. Next, we're going to hit Alt. So that's what we're going to be running with. You can also hold Alt Control to zoom. And I'm still a little rusty at how to zoom like this. One day I'll master it. And Control Shift to pan view. So there's just a couple of nifty shortcuts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take all the kicks. And there are ways to separate this if you want to select like the same beats repeatedly. There are some streamlined ways, but I find it just faster to usually go through things one by one, especially if you're doing like some beatboxing that, you vary it up a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, listen to each beat and move them to different notes. And we want them on different MIDI notes. That's why we pitch them to different notes so that when we drag it in as MIDI, they'll be on separate notes. So we also need to quantize this. Now, if you like your timing and you like the groove that you got, then don't do this, but I'm going to do this. So we're going to go to Edit. We're going to go to Quantization Macros, Quantize Time. And I'm going to select 1/16 and bring the intensity up. Now, if you just want to adjust it a little, but maintain some of what you had originally, as far as the rhythm goes, you don't have to go all the way, but I'm going to go all the way. This pretty much just puts everything on the grid, which is fine for me right now. So, okay, we've got everything on the grid. Sounds like this. Sweet. Now, if yours did not come out as a percussive mode, you could come into algorithm and you might be on like melodic or something else. Just change it to percussive and let it redetect it and it will adjust. Okay, so now that we have this, we're going to go to the pitch shift tool because we're going to be moving notes around. It's worth just being on the tool 100% of the time. And we can hear what we're doing. So I'm going to move kicks down to like -4. Just give myself a bit of room. I'll put snares here and hi-hats I'll leave up here. Now, I do recommend doing passes. So maybe I do another pass with just hi-hats like and I do something like that. And it just makes this process a little easier. So yeah, just be careful. If you get really crazy with your beatboxing, you'll have to pitch more things around. I do recommend having a system. So make like the lowest note your kick, the second your snares, and then your hi-hats, and maybe leave like some space in between so that it'll be easy to tell how things are separated later on. Trust me, you're going to want to do this. So here's my kick. I moved it down to -5 because why not? That's a hi-hat. That's going to be a snare. I can't remember if was that a kick? Yep, that's a kick. So we have a kick and another kick, hi-hat, and then a snare. Kick. Hi-hat. Snare. Oh, is that a kick or a hi-hat? I'm going to leave it as a hi-hat. You could actually clone it and duplicate it. Like if I wanted two things at the same time, I could Control-C, Control-V, and move it down like that. Now I've got two. So if I wanted a layer, I could do that. Also, if you have anything extra like hanging around, like some weird pops or clicks or something, delete those. They'll screw up your MIDI later. But I'm going to just leave it as a hi-hat for now. I'm going to go ahead and say that was a kick. That's a snare. Yep, I'm going to be happy with that. Okay, cool. So now we have it. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Settings, Save as MIDI, and recall where you set this. So set it somewhere that's going to make sense. I already have a folder actually open that is linked right to this. So I'm going to make it uncreatively drum loop 5. Save it. And I'm going to close this. Now we've got the MIDI. So I'm going to open up to where I saved to, grab drum loop 5 and bring it in. And we are good to go. Move it in here, trim it up, and we've got our MIDI. So I'm going to mute this. Don't need that anymore. Unrecord, enable that, and not mute it. And now, given that you've loaded something already, you're ready to start linking them up to the drums. So right now, the MIDI doesn't line up with the plugin. So if I play this, let's turn off the metronome too. Yeah, not that great, right? It's going to like other parts of the sampler. So double click on it to bring it up. We are going to close this. Now, of course, this will change depending on the VST that you use. In this case, we're using Impact. So we're just going to sort of stick with that. And oddly enough, because of the way the mapping works, you'll notice that the lower notes actually go on top, like C1, D1, E1, all that stuff, up to A3. So these are actually our kicks. These are our snares, and these are our hi-hats. So just be aware of how your MIDI goes. It's a bit strange because it gets flipped. Just be aware of that. Now you could select all the kicks by just going to the note that they're all on and control clicking it. You see they all get highlighted. And notice that it also kept our amplitude information from our beatboxing. This helps a ton with making it sound authentic and also delivering the groove that we wanted. So you can hold shift and push up to move things by an octave. And we're going to go with our kick up here. Next, we have our snares. I'm going to shift up to move it up and shift up. And I'm going to go for... Oh, man, that claps pretty nice. I'm going to go with the kick lo-fi, though. And then I'm going to take... These are our hi-hats. Now, these you might vary up between two notes. And it's easier to do this once you're sort of here and you have your hi-hats all in one spot, because you can sort of get a feel for what you're going for. But now we have our loop. And let's go ahead and see what some other kits sound like. Let's check it out here. I am like listening to that thing that I was unsure of, and I think I do want to make it a kick. Yeah. Maybe a layer was the way to go. And let's go through a couple more, but you can see how quickly, so that was taking a lot of time to explain things and like set you up, but you can literally just record, pop it into Melodyne, really quick, sort it, sample it, quantize it, drop it back, and you get a drum groove that it has all the natural rhythm that you'd want depending on how hard you quantize it, and you are already cooking, ready to go to make a beat. Pretty simple process. And there you go. That's just a quick way to be up and running and to get some inspiration. And also a way that, you know, Melodyne, typically people think of tuning, but it is a great resource for making drum loops of all things. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe, hit that bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.